皆さんこんにちは。空の桜井
Hello everyone,
で
this
す。
is Masahiro Sakurai from Sora Limited.
Morning, Daddy
The Super
Sakurai.
Smash Bros. Ultimate game was recently honored with 5 awards at this year's Japan Game Awards.
That is awesome.
It's received a great many awards on top of that as well.
Damn, that is a
Each
groundbreaking
award
record.
is very meaningful to me, so I would like to take the opportunity to extend my thanks to all
Smash
those who
Ultimate
have
Game of the
voted,
Year,
to
baby.
all those who have supported us. Thank you so much.
Konnichiwa.
Without further ado, let's begin the presentation.
Arigato.
First, we'll start with what the NeoGeo is. It refers to a 1990 video game console for use in arcades and at home, as well as to the name of the system itself.
Awesome.
In 1990, the equivalent to the Super NES had only just released in Japan, so if you wanted to play arcade games at home before then, the only option was to play the less polished ports on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
True.
However, with the Neo Geo system, you could play the arcade versions of games at home with no drop in quality. 1990 was right around the year that I started working for a game company. Back then, Japan had rental services for arcade games. In other words, you could go to a rental store, rent an arcade game, take it home, and play it.
Wow. That sounds awesome.
After that, they were sold for home use, but a single game would cost about 30,000 yen.
Damn!
That's expensive.
That is way too much.
But if you think about it, compared to playing a game in the arcade 300 times at 100 yen per play, you're getting your money's worth. At the time, some people actually thought this was cheap. I mean, there really are people who've played games in the Super Smash Bros. Series 1,000 or even 10,000 times. Anyway, the MBS, as it was called then, was sold in various places, and for an arcade machine, it wasn't all that expensive. You could also get them on lease. That's why you'd end up seeing lots of candy stores having a Metal Slug cabinet.
Wow.
The home version of the Neo Geo came with this controller. Can you see?
Oh yeah.
It has 4 buttons. And this is the actual console itself. Here is
Nice.
your set button, and here you slot in the big game cartridges.
Damn. Must have been some big ass big.
This is the Neo Geo. Just kidding. Actually, this is the Neo Geo X, the portable version that was released afterward.
Oh.
You could also insert it into this docking station and play it as a home console.
Must have been one of some big ass
Beat
cartridges.
Nintendo Switch to it. A portable, multi-purpose console. Updated iterations of past systems are emblematic of the Neo Geo.
Nice.
Next, let's talk about what Fatal Fury is. It released in 1991, the same year as Street Fighter II, but this one came later. It launched after Street Fighter II. Like many of the other fighters, Fatal Fury was often regarded as a title that was developed to capitalize on the popularity of Street Fighter II, but that's not really the case. Actually, both Street Fighter II and Fatal Fury were developed using the original Street Fighter as a foundation.
Wow.
In fact, the development of Fatal Fury was started by one of the planners of Street Fighter. So did I just hear you say, wow? This one is also a multiplayer-focused fighting game. In the story, someone named Jeff Bogard is killed by Geese Howard. Geese Howard starts up a fighting tournament in Southtown which he runs. To avenge his father's death, Terry enters the tournament, which is known as King of Fighters. I mentioned the term King of Fighters, something you may have heard before. Yes, there's actually a popular series called The King of Fighters, and that series was named after the fighting tournament within the world of Fatal Fury. And Terry Bogard, who is the protagonist of Fatal Fury, also appears in all the games in the King of Fighters series as one of the main characters. If you want to play a game from either the Fatal Fury series or the King of Fighters series, many of them are available now on Nintendo Switch as part of the Arcade Archive series.
Yeah.
You may not know which one to play first, but my recommendations from the Fatal Fury series would be Fatal Fury Special. From the King of Fighters series, my recommendation would be the King of Fighters 95. But if you want to play a fighting game with all sorts of strategic elements, then I recommend the King of Fighters 98. Next, I'll give you some insight on Terry Bogard. Actually, this video was recorded about 1 month prior to its release. That's because we need to translate and edit videos like this one, and that takes time.
Awesome.
The game footage you see here is not from the final production ROM, so please understand that there may be some elements that differ from the final game. Since we have the opportunity, I want to talk about Terry using a lot of SNK lingo, meaning in this discussion the younger generations may feel a little out of the loop.
Yeah. Give him a little history.
But there's nothing to worry about. When we released the original Nintendo 64 version of Super Smash Bros., I was often asked, who is Samus? Whether or not the character is fun to play as is more important than whether the character is new or old, or whether the character is recognizable to everyone. I want to make sure I present Terry to you in such a way that you can fully understand his appeal. So thank you.
Nice.
Okay, let's begin.
Challenger Pack 4. Terry Bogard joins the battle.
This is Terry Bogard in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yo.
He's still wearing an outfit that reflects the era of his original game, but we did our best to make him look cool in a variety of ways. When he stands next to Ryu, it almost makes you wonder, is this really a Super Smash Bros. Game?
True.
Just like Ryu, when you're playing one-on-one, he'll face the opponent. Actually, he always looks in the opponent's direction. Even if you move him to a location behind the opponent, he'll quickly turn around, always keeping his focus on the opponent.
Nice.
Let's talk about his moves. His neutral attacks are jab, body blow, and high kick.
Nice.
Each move is something familiar from the Fatal Fury series. And his dash is power charge.
Nice.
This is a move you can use in Real Bout, Fatal Fury Special, and others.
Awesome.
In the original series, it was one of his special moves. His tilt attacks are middle kick, rising upper,
Awesome.
and under kick.
Nice.
Compared to Ryu, his attack speed is slower.
Yeah.
This is to match his original series.
Wow. Let's get into the smash.
Now for smash attacks. First up, backspin kick.
Oh, that's, I was
This
expecting
smash
crash
attack
kick, but
is the
okay.
equivalent to his strong attack, but the motion is even cooler than in his original series. Next, wild upper
Wow.
and slide kick.
That's his down smash?
Both are from the original series. Then his mid-air moves. Jump, then chop. Jump, then kick. Jump, then backward kick.
Nice.
And then somersault kick. However, this somersault kick was not included in the original series. But we needed a move to attack up,
Yeah.
so we created a new move.
That makes sense.
Also, jump and then karate punch for a down air attack.
Yeah.
If you successfully pull off a down air, it's possible to attack with a meteor effect, as you can see
Just like
here.
Ryu and Ken's.
It's basically like Ryu's. Next, I'll cover his throws. His forward throw is his familiar Buster
Buster
throw.
throw.
His back throw is also Buster throw.
Yeah.
And his down throw is neck breaker drop. In fact, he used it in the game Fatal Fury, Wild Ambition.
What's his up throw?
I miss playing that game on Hyper Neo Geo 64.
Yeah.
And then, his up throw is grasping upper. This sort of dodge attack can be performed after a spot dodge. I mentioned dodge attacks, and this actually does exist. During a spot dodge, immediately press the button to counterattack.
Nice.
During a dodge attack, your upper body becomes invincible, so this kind of move gives you the advantage when you counterattack.
Nice.
Now for his special attacks. His neutral special
Power
with
Wave.
just the B button is Power Wave. Depending on how long you press the button, you'll use one of two types of special attacks, weak and strong.
Yeah, just like Ryu and
This
Ken.
one is weak and kind of slow, and this one is strong. Fast, isn't it? For Ryu, in his original game, you used 3 buttons, so there were weak, medium, and strong attacks. For Terry Bogard, you could use 4 buttons in his original game, but
Really?
there were only 2 buttons for punch. So that's why he only has 2 attack levels, weak
Right.
and strong. This rule applies to all of his special attacks, so please keep that in mind. By the way, the attack Power Wave is a move that shoots energy along the ground. But how does it look in the air?
Power
In his
Wave!
original game, you couldn't use this move in the air. This is how it looks now.
Uh.
As of the King of Fighters 96, the Power Wave ability had a shorter range, so we've recreated that version of the move. It's a useful move in midair and helps keep opponents in check. Next, we have a special performed while holding in the direction of your opponent, Burning Knuckle. This move also has a weak and strong version, as well as a command input. Like the Hadouken command input from Street Fighter II, you perform this command using the directional inputs, down to the side in the direction of your opponent, and then press the button.
Nice.
Doing so makes the move a bit stronger. This means that Burning Knuckle has 4 variations: weak without command input, and strong without command input, weak with command input, and strong with command input. The strong version using the command input is of course the most powerful.
Yeah.
You'll hear a noise when you input the command.
Nice.
And if you've succeeded, you might also notice some green mixed in with the flames. It may be slight, but there is a difference. The strong version with the command input really is strong, even capable of KOing opponents.
Nice.
It can be blocked, however, so be on the lookout for that.
Or parried.
In such a case, you'll be left
countered.
wide open. And this is a first for the Super Smash Bros. Series, but the side specials are split into 2 versions, a back special and a front special.
What? Wait,
That
say
means
what?
there's one more side special than usual, Crack Shoot.
Crack shoot?
This is a familiar move from its original game.
Holy shit.
There's also a command input version. It's performed by using the directional buttons down to the back, followed by the A or B button.
Okay. Sakurai.
The command version can launch your opponent quite a bit further. It creates a bit of an arc, so it can be used as an anti-air attack when your opponents try to hit you. At close range, if you happen to be blocked by a shield, it's hard to be counterattacked because you'll pass through them. There's something I want you to remember. When you do a crack shoot off screen, this is how it will look.
You better be careful.
Terry swings with his whole body when using Burning Knuckle and Crack Shoot, so it can be hard to recover. However, if you keep pressing backwards without inputting commands, you should be able to initiate Crack Shoot in the direction you're trying to recover.
Say what?
Let me show you one more time. Do this, then continue to press backwards,
Wait, what? All you gotta do is press back?
and then you can recover. If you press too quickly or input some commands, you'll fly right off the stage, so be careful.
Shit. Now I gotta be careful.
And this is his up special, Rising Tackle.
I knew it. Rising tackle.
It also has weak and
Rising
strong
Tackle!
versions, each with different heights. And did you notice that if you hold down briefly to charge, your whole body glows a little?
A charge move and smash?
In this case, your whole body will be invincible at the start. Either way, your legs will be invincible.
Hold on a second.
Here's an example of this
Is this
invincibility
even smash anymore?
with the standard Rising Tackle. I got completely wiped out when I threw myself at them. But with Rising Tackle's charged command version, you can't be hit at this moment,
Wow.
so you come out on top. You can of course use Rising Tackle as a recovery as well. Even after using Burning Knuckle or Crack Shoot, you can still use Rising Tackle.
Nice.
This is also very helpful when you're trying to recover, so please keep that in mind.
Okay.
His down special is